Do you know the story of one of the greatest military commanders of the 20th century, who helped the Germans conquer France, and that this same commander also participated in a plan to kill Hitler? He was born at the time of the German Empire, and since he was little, he always dreamed of becoming a soldier and serving Germany. After several years, destiny seemed to call him. Germany had declared war on France and the Russian Empire, thus starting the First World War. This young soldier named Erwin Rommel stood out on the Italian front for his bravery. In the Battle of Caporetto, he used infiltration strategies, taking advantage of the terrain, and managed to gain a lot of advantage over the enemy. Rommel was always together with other soldiers at the front and was injured many times due to his courage, and as time went by he was promoted to captain. With the German defeat in the First World War, Germany was in complete chaos, with several communist uprisings throughout the territory. Rommel, in addition to being a great strategist, was a good diplomat, even containing a communist uprising in Lindau just by negotiating with the rebel leaders. As time went by, Rommel continued in the German army, being promoted several times to the position of instructor and writing a book on infantry military tactics. In 1939, Hitler, who was already dictator of Germany at the time, recognized that Rommel was a great military man, and when the Second World War began, Hitler's trust in him was so great that he appointed Rommel to command Hitler's personal guard, being appointed chief of Hitler's personal security. But shortly after the French invasion, Rommel was assigned to the French front, where he commanded German panzer divisions, and with his tactics of quick maneuvers and boldness, he succeeded and defeated several French and English divisions. Rommel disagreed a lot with orders from other German generals, and he often disregarded them and advanced against the enemy with only panzers tanks, without infantry support, with so much speed and surprise that in some moments, not even the Germans themselves could track him, making his division earn the name of Ghost Division. With the success of Rommel's campaign in France, Hitler assigned him to command the African Corps in Libya against the British. Using tactics similar to those he used in France, he carried out quick and surprise attacks, with most of the time he was in the front line along with his soldiers, which made many admire him. Because of his victory, he became known as the Desert Fox. After several victories against the British, Rommel managed to conquer several territories from Libya to Egypt, being promoted to Field Marshal by Hitler. But Rommel found an opponent, Bernard Montgomery, who had been named the new commander of the British 8th Army in Egypt. Rommel tried to conquer the city of El Alamein twice, but because of British air superiority and greater numbers, he was defeated. He even wrote in his diary that part of his army had disappeared after the battle. In 1944, Rommel had already returned to Europe after the Allies had conquered all the territories in Africa. Now he was inspecting the German coastal defenses in France and preparing for a possible amphibious attack by the Allies. But at that time, Hitler no longer fully trusted Rommel, and several of his strategies were denied by other generals and by Hitler. One of which could have prevented the Allied victory on D-Day was that Rommel wanted to place panzer divisions close to the beaches to be able to counterattack the Allied forces, but Hitler disagreed with him and ordered German tanks to remain in reserve in the interior of France, close to Paris, making them almost useless for a quick response to the invasion. Current historians conclude that although Rommel served in the German army during the war, he did not support the Nazis and their ideology, disagreeing several times with their policies and in some situations confronting Hitler personally. Hitler disagreed more and more with his general's orders every day and seemed to become more lunatic, something that made many high-ranking commanders in the German army unhappy with him, including Rommel. Some German commanders suggested to Rommel that after Hitler's fall, Rommel should take power, but something he didn't know was that these same commanders were planning a plot against Hitler. In July 1944, the conspirators, during a meeting with Hitler, left an explosive suitcase, which exploded, but something they did not expect was that Hitler had survived the explosion, and shortly afterwards ordered the conspirators to be persecuted and arrested. After the Nazi SS tortured them, Rommel's name was mentioned. Hitler was furious with him and gave Rommel two options: He should commit suicide by taking a cyanide pill, thus keeping his family safe and receiving a state funeral as a hero, or face a trial for high treason, along with his entire family. Rommel chose to commit suicide to protect his family and reputation, and he did so. Rommel received a hero's funeral, and Nazi propaganda did not publicize his betrayal, saying only that he died as a result of the attack that was carried out against his staff car.